This is Singles Exchange. Let's talk, let's hang. This is Singles Exchange. Singles Exchange.
All right, welcome back to the Beauty Exchange, a mashup of two amazing podcasts. I am Joy J, host of Singles Exchange, as you see behind me. You can find Singles Exchange on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and whatever your podcast streaming platform is. And of course, we have the lovely Mrs. Raquel.
Hi, everybody. Yes, for those who don't know, my name is Raquel Gilmore, and I am the creator and founder of an awesome podcast by the name of Beauty Talk, where I cover just basic regular life as being a Christian, but I try to talk about topics that are relatable and that you can kind of use like encouragement or just being uplifted. You can find Beauty Talk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. Just type in Beauty Talk and my name, Raquel, Rickl, and it should come right on up. It's me holding up that big old B and T in the picture. But yes, I'm excited to be here and to get into this episode, okay?
Whoa, this is a good one. So, for those of you that are not familiar, we have been sitting down weekly to discuss the popular TV show Married at First Sight, season 12. I believe this was episode 8, and it's been a rocky ride. So, we kind of been sticking with a pattern of starting with the worst and going towards the rest. So
yes,
let's do it. Let's hop right in. We will start with the Williams, Chris and Paige.
That's the last name of them folks.
Listen, I
I've
don't
been
think
so busy
anybody
in life, I didn't even realize that was their last name. She Mrs. Williams.
I don't think anybody has actually said that, but they are the Williams because
that's my first. I was today years old. It's 7 episodes in. Okay,
8 episodes.
8.
Honey. This is clearly episode 8. Yes, the Williams.
Let me lay out the layout for the whole
Don't give
episode.
us the layout.
So the layout is this: they are back at home. They moved in. All of 4 of the couples have moved in. One of the girls is still living like a single woman. And I don't even know if she's still there. However, this is a point in time where, like, and it's traditionally in Married at First Sight, where they try to have like the blending of families to happen. So you'll move in, your closest friends or family can come in. Sometimes it be all family, sometimes it be all friends. And the purpose of this is to see how like these two worlds are going to match. You know, like you two come together as husband and wife, but then, you know, as families, we come together sometimes with like your in-laws and such like that. So that's where we are. I believe all of 4 couples had this experience. One of the couples did not. And I think that segued right into the Williams. How these folks ain't even met no
Actually, nothing. She did no housewarming, no nothing.
Listen, she did meet some family. Now that I think about it, Paige did.
She met some family, but not the family that we was thinking. So,
I think this is the first type of family situation that we've ever met in Married at First Sight like this.
History, okay? This man out here making Married at First Sight history, and not in a good way.
Not in the good way, in a very nonchalant, I don't want to be here, but I called the meeting type of way. Somebody said at the Married at First Sight fan page that it felt like a teacher's conference, a parent teacher conference where your teacher and your mama get together and you be there and looking stupid. I'm like, is he not saying nothing for real?
No lies were told. No lies were told. So for those of you who are not familiar, this particular couple, Chris and Paige Williams, Chris found out on his honeymoon that his former fiance is pregnant by him. And the last episode 7, after a bunch of other foolery, he,
to say the least,
called his wife and requested a meeting between himself, his wife, and basically his baby mama. So of course, all the viewers, me included, were like, "What y'all meeting for? Y'all getting divorced? We ain't got nothing to talk about."
Yes, this is to be clear. This is after he had said he wanted to divorce.
After he said that he wanted to separate, he wanted to go back with his ex-fiance. He did not want to raise his child in a split household. So the episode begins with him sitting down with two of his trusted advisors, which I think everybody had that experience first before we even get to their meeting. Everybody had a little sit down with some people that they're close to, and low key, the people was gathering they folks, okay? Like
Yes.
getting them together real quick. So
Mhm.
Chris sat down with his pastor and somebody named Michael. I don't know who Michael is.
Yeah, I don't remember what my kept position was. Maybe he was just like a close friend.
Probably. So first of all, when Chris sat down with Pastor Dwight and Michael, and they were like, how was the honeymoon? Like, how things,
Hmm.
they trying to hype him up.
Yeah,
And he starts telling them all of the foolery that has happened, which I'm sure he left some parts out, but
I'm sure.
telling them the rundown of this girl is pregnant and I've chosen to leave my wife. Michael's
Listen,
face said, who the hell? Okay.
yes, no, it was definitely
Let's
who the
be
hell.
real clear.
And not to mention, he also told them, like, I'm not attracted to her the moment I saw her. When she came down that altar, I really wasn't feeling it like from the beginning.
Yeah, he did say that. And his pastor rebuked him on several of those things. His pastor, and I'm just kind of skimming through my notes, but Pastor Dwight told him, like, first of all, she's an ex for a reason. So
Mm-hmm.
you going back to her is stupid. Second of all, you're married. Your wife trumps everybody. Your
Mm-hmm.
kid, your ex-fiance, yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife trumps everybody. And I
Yeah.
appreciated that because like last week we talked about how Chris respects Pastor Kyle enough not to clown with him, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like he was receptive to what Pastor Kyle was saying. And
Mm-hmm.
so to have his own pastor telling him, nah, G, you tripping. You got a diamond.
Yeah.
You're tripping.
Yeah. Essentially the same thing.
Literally the same thing. And I thought that his response was very interesting because, like I said, he respects Pastor Kyle, but he didn't clown. But he clowned with his pastor, with his own
Mm-hmm.
pastor, showed out real bad. And I was like,
Yeah.
first of all, if this was my pastor would have snapped, crackled, and popped if I
Oh,
had to do
absolutely.
him like that in public or in private. This
Mm-hmm.
ain't that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Listen,
my
you
note.
tag me on there when you ready. You just
Listen, the last thing I got for that particular conversation was, so Chris shut down with everybody, because that's literally what it was. The moment that they did not agree with what he felt or what he had chosen to do, he was just like, I'm done.
oh, this is my phone. These my candle as Chris was like, yeah, no, that ain't gonna work for me. Mm-mm.
He
Mm-hmm.
had no time for
Mm-mm.
it. He had no time for it. So
No.
I'm gonna let you jump in on that before we get to the meeting itself.
Yes. Okay. So I want to hear right where you left off at. The fact that they were literally like saying the same thing that Pastor Kyle said, and these are people that know you, and it's your covering. Like it, you would think that at some point some of this would start to register at Chris' mind. Chris was like, "Listen, I expected for y'all to come into this meeting thinking the way that I'm thinking. And the fact that y'all ain't thinking what I'm thinking, I got a problem with y'all." And it was interesting because like it showed them having the camera, then they had like solo time together, like these two men who sat down with Chris. And they was like, listen, your boy tripping, and we're gonna let you know you tripping. We're gonna rebuke you. Shout out to the good friends that will tell you about yourself because you need to hear this, you know. And Chris was just like, y'all, and then when Chris had an individual like moment with the camera, he was like, they just not understanding what I'm saying. And I need for Chris to understand, we're understanding what you're saying. We're letting you know that you ain't gonna get no better than Paige. I have a weird thing in my mind that certain people that we have dated like in the past, and if you mistreated them or did wrong about them, I feel like you would never get better than that. Like you'll get other good people, but I feel like some opportunities are just opportunities of a lifetime. I think that it's also interesting too with Chris's pastor, who everybody talk about the hairline. I was checking the hairline now, but I feel like I got real messy, so I didn't say nobody's hairline. However, I thought that it was interesting because Chris pastor had told him before he got married, he said, listen, I know you. You struggle with commitment. I know you will walk away. And I'm here to tell you, as a married man, that's not how marriage goes. So if you're going to be in this for the long run, like, don't even, like, there's other conversations that, like, Chris Pastor had with him before that time came. So I feel like if anybody had the right to stand on the grounds they did stand on, it was definitely his pastor, because he was like, boy, I told you. First of all, you low-key weren't ready, but then you telling the world and telling us that you're ready, and then you get on her and mistreat this gem, this woman that's a woman of a lifetime. And I'm not about to sugarcoat it with you. I appreciate this pastor telling them that, but I think you said it best. Chris gonna shut down with anybody or throw a temper tantrum with anyone that does not agree with him or does not make him feel good in that moment. And that's why I even can see, and I don't want to drag these folks back into it, but Chrissy's family, when they uphold him or whatever he's doing, I can see how they think that that's okay, because they all, like, condoning foolishness, like his mama said, was he drunk? Like, that ain't got nothing to do with, let's talk about, like, accountability. And when someone does wrong to someone else or take advantage of them. But yeah, Chris irked me even in that segment too. I was like, he just don't get it.
And to me, even just, stepping aside from the show itself and just talking about who can actually hold you accountable, because I know that I have had some hard conversations with friends. There were times when I was in the wrong, there were times when they were in the wrong, and it wasn't necessarily like a clash between us, but just in this situation, can I tell you the truth? And even if you don't like it, because the fact is, you're not always gonna like the truth. The truth don't always feel good.
No,
but
it doesn't.
trust me enough for me to tell you the truth without you getting mad and totally disregarding what I'm saying. And I think that shows a true level of accountability when you can say, you know what, I'm a little salty because you didn't agree with me, but I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna, pray on it, and I'm gonna receive, the truth, because the reality is, they always talk about how there's three truths. It's the two people in the situations, it's their truth, and then it's the actual truth. But at the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. And Chris, baby, you wrong. Like,
but see, that's the thing though, Joy. Chris don't see no wrong in none of it. Like, even when we get to the conversation with the current wife and the baby mama, and people even saying that Mercedes ain't even pregnant, but whatever. He don't see nothing wrong with nothing.
Yeah, he don't see anything wrong with his actions. And I think that's the part. He won't accept responsibility.
Yeah.
And that just shows me that you're not ready for marriage. If you cannot take responsibility for your part, no matter how big or small you think it is, because I don't think that he went with the intentions to have a baby on the way and all this like that. I don't think that was his intention. But the reality is that that's what happened. And if you cannot accept your part in what happened, you're not gonna get far.
Yeah, and I want to help us segue right into the whole three people sit down conversation, right to the end of your point, because even in that type of situation, depending on the type of woman that you're married to, that thing can go real left or real right in the in a particular type of situation. But I want to give credit to a woman like Paige, who is patience is for Paige. Okay, I'm talking about Paige. Like, that's what the P in her name stands for. Yeah. Like, she had a woman that was willing to rock with him, stick by his side, be a stepmom. I'm talking about, she literally was gonna be your Bonnie to your Clyde. Don't matter how sticky the situation is, and you still could not work with that. I think that speaks volume too, because you can get a different type of woman who would have cussed you out, your mama out, your dead people out. Okay, it tells you to go to hell, but she didn't do that. So moving all the way until Chris.
Right.
Paige and Mercedes.
Miss Mercedes has finally appeared. I honestly feel like people dragged her, like, oh, she's not that pretty, blah, blah, blah. I think people dragged Mercedes.
Oh, Mercedes?
That's what people been saying. Like, she's not even that cute.
Oh, Mercedes was Miss Fine.
She was fine. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that because people are so triggered by the situation, they kind of attacked her. And it's like, it's not her fault. She didn't want to be dragged into this, just like Paige didn't want to be dragged into this. And I don't think that she's ugly by far. I think Paige is beautiful. I think Mercedes is beautiful. And honestly, from the way that he talked about his type and all of this, she is exactly what I expected.
She is.
She did seem to have a little crazy. You know how women do that thing where we talk with our eyes. Damn, Chris with her eyes were good 5 times in that conversation. But
Yeah, like I will pop off at any time. Don't embarrass both.
Please don't get in front of your wife and think I won't clown. That's what her eyes said.
Really was.
But my notes for that starts with Paige wanting to take her power back. And I appreciate that because I do feel like she felt powerless in a lot of the situation, which is what I've been trying to convey. But everybody been so Paige is desperate and she got mental illness. And
they hit her with the mental illness.
Oh yeah, they was
my God. Well, that's 2 people that got diagnosed this season. She did and Haley did.
Right. So I appreciate her wanting to take her power back and getting up enough confidence to do so and finally reaching her breaking point. But I just want to know, first of all, let's talk about how Chris and Mercedes looked like they was on their way to a dinner date together. I mean, came in dressed to the nines.
And y'all need to have 3 separate seats for me. When I first seen, I'm like, they on the same car, Paige. Paige, the wife,
and the wife sitting by herself. Nah.
They got Paige on the solo seat, like she the interviewer. I'm like okay,
right,
okay.
I felt like it was very awkward at the beginning because Chris was the one that called the meeting, and then they all got here together, and he just sat there, and it's like, no, navigate the conversation. You asked for this conversation, so you need to make known what it is that you wanted to accomplish here. And then since he didn't do that, Paige was like, oh, okay, let's talk. And then he was salty. And another thing. Right. And then he was salty, and it's like, well, baby, that's your own fault.
Yeah. No, and let's be clear for the folks who didn't watch it. Chris came in, sat in that seat, and that couch, leaned back, put his feet up like, I brought y'all here. I ain't got nothing to say. I've done my part. No, you actually did not.
You didn't, because what we here for.
Okay. That was horrible. But go ahead, you can continue.
So he talked about wanting to clear the air and blah blah blah. He got back in this little comment about this is my wife, blah blah blah. And it's like, no, you don't treat her like your wife. You don't acknowledge her as your wife. You didn't put her first like your wife.
No.
But why now is this such the declaration that this is my wife, this is my wife?
Yeah.
I talked about the eye exchange between, oh my goodness. When Paige said that she thought she might be pregnant by that man, and she implied that they was having unprotected sex. Maybe if looks could kill.
Listen, Mercedes said, "Now who?"
Chris Williams II. Because she turned around like, pregnant by who?
Yeah. By this man?
Not by this man that I'm pregnant by. Yeah. I appreciated, which we're getting towards the end of the conversation, so I know we're gonna circle back around a lot, but I appreciated that Paige and Mercedes were able to handle this like adult women. It was no cattiness, no rudeness. It was at one point that Mercedes even stuck up for Paige because Chris was like, she's rude and all of this and that. And she was like, no, she's not being rude. I think she's handling this very well for somebody that's in this situation. And you so I appreciate it. And I think that's what Chris didn't expect. You know, the media portrays Black women as ignorant and catty and angry. So he kind of expected them to come together. I think he wanted them to have a little cat fight. You know, guys like stuff like that. They fight. And when they came together and was like, what's up, girlfriend? You know, he was like, wait, no, that's not what's supposed to happen. And so he was salty. And that's when he went to, I'm just ready to go eat. I'm gonna go eat the food, and I'm gonna read my Bible, and I'm gonna watch the game. Boy, what? What Bible?
That whole little, I just wish, like, and I know Chris is a self-proclaimed man of God, okay, but I could have really did out there the last, but I'm like, boy, now you've been on her acting anytime, any kind of fool. When I say any kind of fool, I mean any kind of fool. And then you hit us with, let's wrap this up. I'm ready to go have a certain table, go read my Bible, to go before the Lord. I'm like, Bring it on in. Okay, this is how I felt about the whole meetup with the three. I personally could have done without it. I feel like the moment I seen the ex, it became really love and hip hop for me. Because although this is a part of Chris's now new life, and if she is pregnant, he's going to be attached to her 18 years and beyond that. I just feel like, you know, I've always wanted Paige to just like walk off with the little dignity that you had to move about your business. So I don't know if it was just like taping or Paige wanted that closure. I just don't. Before the conversation happened, I don't know. I was just wondering what was Paige really going to get out of the whole sit down thing. And then Chris approaching the conversation very childlike. He did not rise up to the occasion. He was not the adult man. He did not take accountability or responsibility for nothing. He came into the meeting sitting down. Even when Paige was like, you know, initiating and like pretty much directing the conversation, I was watching like Mercedes' energy. And although she wasn't like messy, I feel like Mercedes kind of came in like, and what, you know? And I'm like, and it could be the woman in me. But even how peaceful she was, I had learned in that moment that all women handle situations very differently. And I just have to grow to honor that, you know, because I come from a real strong nucket, if you bucket the type of family line, okay? Like, I don't, for the most part, cause the smoke, but if it's brought to me, I'm gonna shake a little table. Okay, I love the Lord. This is my truth. That's why I try my best not to like be put in certain situations. Because when Chris leaned up, it was like he felt like he was being disrespected and got a little high in his voice. It was at that moment that I would have pulled to Chris when he was on that bus and he said, "Oh, y'all think it's about to be peaceful on this ride home?
Y'all
I'm about to shake something up."
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. When he leaned up and got a little, I told my husband, is he getting aggressive? My husband's like, oh, that ain't really, somebody done gave a call, somebody done called, but we are back. And my husband was like, oh, that ain't, he's just talking. I'm like, still, that was something in me that made me so mad to see that. But they were civil. They did have their conversation. She did speak up for herself. He was like, I just feel like you throwing shade and you being shady. And I'm just trying to approach the situation with nothing but respect and kindness towards you. And Negro, no, you did not. No, you don't act like you've been there for me up until this point. Then I'm Mercedes here, because that's not true, you know. And then when I think about it, even now, and I didn't look at it like that then, but now that's even a form of manipulation. You trying to control the way I think and the way I express myself and the way that I'm allowing myself to process my feelings. No, you're not me, but this is how I feel like it. Like she kept saying, I came into this experiment with pure intentions, and I believe she had every right to say that. And I believe she said it twice, and he was like, so did I. He was getting like annoyed with her, and I'm like, that ain't even your place. But honestly, I should not expect nothing more from Chris. And let me be clear, I am a peaceful person for the most part. But even when Paige and Mercedes got up and hugged, I was like, Paige, go home. Because I don't know if I'd have been there giving the hugs. That's my business.
I don't know about the hugs per se. Like I come from a nuck if you buck lineage. But my mom, like the most influential woman in my life is my mom. And my mom it takes a lot to get her to nuck if you buck. So I can understand why Paige handled it the way that she did. But I also get a Johnny Johnson streak in me. And I just don't know which side would have came out. Like I ain't even gonna lie. A little bit of me would have been Johnny Johnson, and I might have popped off.
Yeah.
And like I said, even with my dad, it takes a lot to get him there, but baby, when he is there, it's no turning back.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I appreciate the maturity of the two women in the situation. I appreciate Mercedes for sticking up for Paige and for shutting Chris down. Like, listen, first of all, you think I ain't seen you clown before? I ain't scared of you.
Yeah.
Because that was all vibes that she gave. And I appreciate that she was like, I know that you may have been under the impression that we were getting back together, but from sitting down talking to you, I know the truth. That's not happening. Which
I was glad she said that though.
She lied, but okay. Because they was
who's talking about, Paige or Mercedes?
Mercedes. They was definitely just out of town together.
Oh, so they're back together currently.
That's the rumor. That's what the people in the groups is saying.
And is there a baby? Do we have a child? Is there a Lil Williams? We don't know. Yes.
She look real skinny. She don't look pregnant. She would still be
That's what
pregnant.
they had said. I'm like, so it ain't no baby in it. Every you're gonna be messy, child.
Very. So yeah, like I said though, I appreciate the camaraderie and the way that the women handle it. I am not surprised by the way that Chris handled it, but I am
No.
disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point you got to do better, sweetheart. You have to
Mm-hmm.
do better. And at some point I don't think that your childhood or adulthood issues are an excuse. Go to therapy.
Someone made that on Twitter about Chris. Yeah, someone's mentioned that.
Therapy with your life.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then they were saying that now that we've like start to like undercover and do some of the work about like childhood trauma and things like that, are we now using that as like a blank of excuse, or is that an indicator that we need to rise up to the occasion and go to therapy or seek counseling or things like that? But they were saying like in the terms of Paige, not in the terms of Paige, but in the terms of Chris rather, that people are just using that as a cover up to not seek help, to not get any healing when you really do need to like go get the work, or do the work or have the work done, however you want to put it. But yeah, and then lastly too, and when you mentioned like about like the family, like your mom and your dad, I think another thing that like triggers me is when like a woman is like in a situation with a man and she's trying to like open her heart and be honest about like what she's feeling, and that man like come back with aggression. I think that some of that just really bothers me too. So I was like, yeah, no, girl, just go on about your business, honey. And I'm just praying on the side that she walk into something that, man, that God just blow her mind. That's my inward part.
it's a man out there that's gonna blow that baby mind, and she deserves it. Not to say that
Yeah.
there are people that don't deserve love, but for what she's been through, I can't wait to see her love story, her real love.
Absolutely.
I,
Somebody come sweep off her feet the way that Cameron applied that energy. That love is blind. Yes.
listen, I'm praying that prayer for her and for me. God be
Well,
praised.
see, I already got you on there, but see, I'm putting Paige under your name. I already know.
Hey,
I already got you
it's
on
our
there.
time, Paige. It's our
It's our time. Period. Listen, Cameron came in loving Lauren. She wasn't even listen.
Yeah,
I still go back and watch Love Is Blind just so I can get that thrill again from
that's what
them.
I'm saying. I appreciate that. Also,
Yeah.
this is we're segueing into the next couple, but shout out to my all-time favorite Married at First Sight couple, Deanna and Greg. Having our
The
nephew
nephew heard.
Declan. Shout out to the Okoties for
Yes.
birthing their baby Declan. Woot woot. Kudos to them. So
Nephew is here. Okay.
nephew
Live in
is
the color.
here,
We love it.
okay? Because if you really are a fan, you feel like family. Like I feel like I know
Yeah.
people in real life. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
kudos.
still so amazing to see like couples who actually go, or people who go into this experiment with like really good intentions, i.e. Paige, and it happens and it plans out beautifully, and it just evolves into like so much businesses and children, and yeah, I mean, now we talking legacy. I'm here for
Legacy, huh? That's
Yeah.
the stuff that Chris was talking about. He just went about it the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Very wrong.
God be praised. We
Moving on.
Eric in Virginia, we gonna get into, and you know what's sad? Lake. I was gonna say I don't know their last name, but I do. Let's get into the Lakes.
I did not know that. Wow. Go do you better do your homework. Okay, you in your
Well,
bag right now.
it's a
Period.
petty reason that I remember theirs because I was like, her name Virginia Lake. That's it was real cool. But yeah,
Listen,
Lakes.
I'm like, I never knew that until now.
Yeah,
Eric Lake.
Eric Lake. As I said, I think I know everybody's last name.
Let me start off by saying I watched another show that reviews the Married. You said what?
Go ahead. I was agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. I watch another show that reviews the Married at First Sight episode each week, and they opened up their review calling Virginia vodka. I could not take it. Okay, I laughed every single time that they gave this woman a whole other name.
They can't call that girl vodka.
Okay.
We got.
Do you want to start them off, or do you want me to start them off?
You can start. You can start.
Let's go ahead and start. I just want to say, do I think they're gonna make it? No. Okay. I feel like now that we're going into like the series even more, the characters are starting to like unveil, and like some people starting like grow on me. Some people I just can like do without. I'm not really going to say, because a lot of people have mixed reviews about Eric. I'm gonna talk about the husband just for a second. I don't feel like Eric is a super bad person. Do I feel like Eric can be controlling it whether he know it or not? I feel like some of that can kind of come like off like with his personality, but understanding like who he is and where he come from, everybody has like a story that makes them them. I do feel like Eric want to make the situation work, and I do feel like he tried to give like some give and take. I just think that like with Eric, he's so much more settled, even more than like he actually realized, and trying to like come in and compromise with her. I feel like when it comes to Virginia, I was definitely going to call her the other name. When it comes to Virginia, she has an idea of like what marriage is. Although you may say it's right or wrong, this is how she views marriage. Like in my mind, she wants to be married, but still very much so have like this single life. Although you're married to a super conservative type of man, and I just when I watched him, I just was like, yeah, they're not gonna work. Like Eric needs a woman that is really settled, that is set in her ways, ready to quit her job, be a housewife, raise the kids, go to church on Sunday, little bake biscuits on Sundays. I feel like that's the type of wife that he needs. And although I can see like if they really, really, really wanted to put in the work and make it work, I do think it could be a thing. But I feel like, when it comes to them, they're on opposite sides of that spectrum. And with this episode, they did have the moment where they came together and met each other's friends. And although Eric's friend was like, I think that Virginia's like a really good girl, and I feel like it can work. I was like, I used to say that back at the beginning with them. I don't really say that now. But even when the Virginia and her friends came, which was her guy friends, which I wasn't surprised, because she really says like she's really close to her guy friend. They do life together. She get drunk every weekend, fall out at their couch together. Eric had mentioned that he was like really nervous to meet them, but I was glad that they came. It's because they played such a huge role in her life, and they were really cool. They were really nice. One of the friends, I don't know if it was set up by producers or not, but one of the male best friends was like, Eric, can we speak to you outside? Cool. We've had conversations with our girl. She one of the coolest girls that we know. She really is in this for the right reason. And Eric was basically saying, I'm just summing it up really quick. I'll let Joy go in just a second. But Eric was just telling a friend, like, I'm glad that we have this moment. I'm glad that you're telling me this because I want to be in it for the right reasons. I just don't know that even them wanting to really be married, I don't know if it's going to work together to make them like this, like dynasty, or just like this lasting couple. But that's it for me.
Okay, so I have kind of sporadic notes for them, not a whole lot this week, but the first thing I got, Eric made mention. I want to say he was talking to Ryan, and he made mention of she is not as affectionate as he would like. Because I literally wrote,
I skipped over that whole part. Yeah,
Virginia, get that man a hug. That's literally in my notes, and it's just
are they having sex yet?
I don't remember. I don't think so. Question mark, but I don't know.
Me,
they kind of were secretive about it too. So, but I feel like if his love language is physical touch, you got to meet him where he is. Be accountable for the fact that you are married to this man. And I think that's the thing for this whole week is just being accountable, because you got to do your part. Like,
yeah, you do.
If you are this man's spouse and that's what he needs for his love tank to be full, hold that man's hand, give him a hug, rub his shoulder, something, like let him know that you are attracted to him. So, and I do think she's attracted to him. I'm still very torn about whether or not I think they'll make it, but yeah. I also thought it was interesting that she went out of town in the middle of.
I was just saying that's the part I totally missed over. Please go into that.
She went out for a wedding, which of course, when you RSVP for the wedding, you had no clue that you were going to be on this show. But I feel like can he go with you, even if he's not going to the wedding itself? He can't go out of town with you, like
that,
or did it conflict?
And one in 4 nights, it was for a couple of days, wasn't it?
It was like 4 days.
We're only 2 weeks in his marriage. Go ahead.
We're only 2 weeks in. Like no, we going together. So yeah. There was something. Oh, so the friend Cole, his name was Cole. That's how I know I was taking real notes, because I I felt some
Your
type of way
bag.
about him pulling him to the side. I think initially I was like, okay, come on, let's have this moment where it's just us, where she's not around. But then I felt like you giving me advice on my wife. I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. Like I don't think, like I said, I don't think he had ill intentions, but it just didn't rub me the right way for some reason. I don't know how any man would feel about another man telling him how to embrace his wife. So it didn't sit all that well with me, but he seemed receptive to it. So, if that's what floats your boat, then flourish. The
But
last
wait. So let me ask you a question. In the same scenario, same thing, same show, same event, same day, and it was a female friend having that conversation with him, how would you have taken that?
I think that it would be different. And I am not one to talk about, double standards or things like that. But it's different. It would be like me. Like I've always told the world I have a male best friend. Whenever he gets married, I am not going to his wife like, this is the way that you captivate his heart. This is the way that you hold his attention. For one, it gives off the vibe that at some point y'all were romantically involved and we never met
Exactly.
then.
I agree.
But two, it's just overstepping a boundary. You find your own footing in your own relationship and love her the way that she sees fit, because that is not a place in her life that I am in. I'm not in the romantic part of her life or his life. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I I I also feel like sometimes the female friends, when it comes to them talking to the guys that their friends had married, I do think that they overstep. A lot of times in Married at First Sight history, the girls tend to overstep. And I don't think that's right either, but I think it's in a different context.
Yeah. Yeah. So listen, I agree with you. I'm glad that you like said it from that perspective, and I didn't even like really like go all the way into. Well, I did mention that, but I didn't mention the 4-day thing out of town. However, I think that that's interesting because with this scenario, she said like these are her closest friends, and even if we backtrack to like last week or like the last couple episodes, she'll like really like reverence these guy friends, and even then, like in the pool when it was up in Vegas, he was like, "I'm not okay with that." Even y'all either y'all had a relationship or they have thought about it. So there needs to be that boundary. She's like, "Are you jealous?" He's like, "No, I am not." So it's just interesting. And I think that person about with the question that says this, can the opposite sex be best friends? And then if your best friend become married, how do y'all handle that? Does it now become y'all friend? Or is it now I'm married to Eric, but these are still my two best friends and I'm keeping that apart? Because I know for me, when I took over the whole approach, I don't have male best friends, but I do have male friends. Now that I'm married, these are now our friends. You accept me, you accept my spouse. We're doing things together. I feel like it's a boundary and a respect type thing, and I feel like that's how Eric will want to view it. I don't feel like she really open to that. She did, like I said in the past, she give me sorority girl, what she is, and I think that she would have hoped to marry like a frat boy, and they just be out here living like this ruthless type of life. But we married and on the side. I don't. Yeah.
Agreed. My last little tidbit for them, for Eric, when Eric had his one-on-one sit down with his friend at the beginning of the episode, his friend encouraged him to not turn it into a coaching session, so to speak, when he's talking to his wife. And I think that's important. I know in any relationship, you want it to feel like a partnership. And don't come in with the philosophy that I've been married, I've done this before, and you are inexperienced and you don't know what you're doing, because that can come off as very condescending. And for a woman like Virginia, I don't think that she takes it any type of way. But for a woman like me, my immediate response would be, you've been married before, but you ain't been married to me before. So it's not the same. This is new territory for you, just like it's new territory for me. And we're going to navigate it together, but you're not going to navigate it as if you've been through these waters before, because you've been through the seas with your ex-wife, not with this wife. So
exactly.
I
And then
appreciate that.
Yeah, and then to put it with this, you were married and that marriage led into divorce. So there was two people in that situation that did not make it work. Don't come to me like you just this expert and you're going to be coaching me with everything. Like that's not going to work. And I feel like too, with her being like just like this young spring chicken, and he said like, the woman that you are at that age was not the person that I was at that age, you know. But like you said, with that coaching thing, that's not going to work. I feel so for a woman like Virginia, it's going to be counterproductive, and she's going to go the other way because you know how my dad, like she don't like the check-in, she don't like just like this constant communication. And let's get back on that just for a second to going out of town. Speaking for like when you go out of town with your boy, we can just have a regular conversation real quick. When you go out of town and you are in a relationship, and not just in a relationship, but you are married, like what is that expectation of how should we check in? Do we have to check in every hour or do we check in a few times a day? I know because I feel like with some people, with some certain couples, that looks very different. He was like, I just want to know, like, does she still need me? Does she still want me? Does she miss? Like, I just want to know. He's like, because relationship is so new. And I guess he was like really, really missing her. But I was like, listen, I thought to myself, that girl took them 4 days out of town to get lit. She didn't want to be. She's trying to be a drunkard, as Chris said.
That baby was out there wasted.
Yes, she was. I don't want to call y'all because I'm out here lit. When she came back home, she was still drunk. Did you catch it?
Did.
Yeah, she's still drunk. I'm like, this girl.
She's something else.
Yeah, she is.
So, all right. Anything else for the Lakes? I'm gonna try to refer to everybody by their last name.
Listen, well, you really in your bag because I ain't got none for you.
We're gonna see how it goes. Because one couple, I can't think of it right off the hand, but it'll come to me. All right, are we done with them?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's move on. Now I do know this couple's last name because it's a weird name. The Ubres, Ryan and Clara. Do you want to start?
Who thought she was gonna marry a black man with a regular last name like Williams or Johnson or something like that?
You got a whole Ubre.
Yes, she did.
So do you want to start with them or you want me to start with them?
You start with them. I'm gonna tag in at the end.
Okay. Let's go to Ryan and Clara. Ryan and Clara, I'm gonna start with the stuff that's been happening with them in the fan groups. And one of the fan groups, and I think it's the People of Color one. It's some fan group that I'm in quite a few of them, but one of the fan groups, this lady went on this rant about how Ryan does not know who he is, and he is not accepting the fact that he is a black man, and it was real deep to me.
Really?
I know that his mom is black. Like I vividly remember seeing her at the wedding. She is a black woman. I don't remember what the dad looks like. But I thought he was mixed all this time. One of my other friends didn't know the daddy was black too. But I don't remember that all this time I thought that he was a mixed man.
I did too.
And his genetics will support that because he might have black people hair down here on his beard, but he didn't perm that stuff up top. So
listen, something happened. That thing real smooth.
That's what I'm saying. But to me, even his facial features, he looks like a mixed man. So
to me too.
I don't personally agree with the whole self-hate concept. I think a lot of people feel like if you don't ascribe or subscribe, I don't know which word you use there, but if you don't partake in black culture, that you hate yourself. And I just don't think that's the case. Like,
no,
he doesn't have to wear his hair a certain way or like certain things. Like, to me, one of the beautiful things about being black is that we're so diverse and that black doesn't just look one way. So yeah, Ryan, if you're listening, I don't think you hate yourself, but people out there that
I think that's stretching it. I want you to continue, but I want to make mention to this for the people who are super fans. He said that he grew up in an environment, in a culture that was not full of like African Americans. So he's really a product of his environment. I just don't know what else they want him to be. I recall a time when I was growing up, like pre-K, to second grade, it was predominantly Black in the school district. I'm sure it was like 95% Black. But then third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, I went to predominantly Caucasian school district, and I was the only Black girl like in my class. So I'm thinking that at that point it was 95% Caucasian. And what I noticed is that those 3 years have been in a Black school district, and those 3 years have been in Caucasian school district. Then right after that, I went into another environment that was 95% Black. And let me tell you, you, without even realizing that, you become what you are around. It's not the fact that like you hate yourself, but you are adapted, especially when you are in moments of like molding and shaping. So like those grade school ages and things like that, and even in college. But you're a product of its environment. That don't mean like you hate yourself. I remember when I went to those schools, third, fourth, fifth. Yeah, I was like my vernacular, like my speech had changed a little bit, like the stuff that I like to wear had changed, how I wanted my hair, even all the way down to like some food I had ate. It wasn't that I hated being a Black girl. It was that I was surrounded by a certain type of culture, and that was the norm, and you just adapted to it. So, but he mentioned that early on.
And that's what I thought that he mentioned early on, that the environment, and maybe that's what made me believe that he was mixed, was when he talked about his environment. But yeah, I just felt like I don't see anything wrong with what Ryan is doing. And in a time where we are encouraging Black people to be 100% yourselves, we talk about, the awkward Black girl series, or the nerd Black guys, like that's the thing that we are glorifying right now, but only when it looks a certain way. And I don't think that's
Exactly.
fair. So that's my
Hold
first.
on, and if y'all gonna talk about Ryan, talk about Clara. Clara is a Caucasian white woman that like Black men. Does she hate herself?
Honey, but she love her Black man. She
Yes,
said
she
that a long
does.
time ago.
Period.
So all right, but I'm gonna jump off my soapbox. I didn't have a whole lot on them. I know I got some on the back of this page, but I'm trying to make sure. I really think I just got one little thing for them. Um, Clara was talking to somebody. I don't remember who she was talking to, but she made
Mm-hmm.
this comment, and I wrote it down verbatim. She said, um, I just want to enjoy life, and I want to do it with someone who is just as adventurous, crazy, and weird as I am. And
Mm-hmm.
while I understand the spirit of what she's saying, in my
Mm-hmm.
mind I was like, Clara, you just wanted to date another you. And that's
Yeah.
not fair. Like, if you are going to marry somebody and you're going to go through this process, don't expect a replica of you. You're not going to be
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Um,
Yeah.
enjoy learning who your husband is and who he is
Mm-hmm.
not. Enjoy meshing your lives together and learning new things that work for the both of you. Don't
Yeah.
just get frustrated because he won't, or he doesn't like the things that you like. And I think her reference was
Mm-hmm.
more so in terms of like drinking. Like she wanted him to take some
Mm-hmm.
shots or something. And it was like,
Yeah.
girl, that might be enjoying life to you, but that's not enjoying
Yeah.
life to him. So find
It's
out what
not.
enjoying life looks like for your spouse, because it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be what you think. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
whole point of being married, is to have another
Yeah.
perspective. So, um, that's literally the only notes that I have for her. Do you have anything?
Listen, no, I'm tagging along right there with you, like in pretty much what you said. Appreciating like the difference, And I remember she had made mention in this last episode. She was like, if he make one more comment about being an old man, like that was bothering her. But that's who he is. Like, what
Yeah.
you want him to be? And I love it. Like, we do not marry ourselves. But I think another thing is this: when they make those comments, I get real. Like, I want not married, but dating at first sight vibes. Like, y'all want to be like boyfriend and girlfriend and not even realize. I think I thought that about two of the wives. I was like, when they made the comment they made, I was like, so y'all really didn't want like a husband. Y'all just wanted somebody y'all could do life with forever. Y'all can be friends and y'all can explore things and learn things about each other. And I thought to myself while watching the episode, I said, well, you can really have that with a friend. Yeah, you don't have to get
You
married for
literally
that,
can have sex with a friend. You don't need. Clara frustrates me very close to the way Virginia frustrates me.
Really.
Um, just because I don't think that she is ready to be married. I think
Mm-hmm.
that she wants like to party and not have to change anything. Like, I don't think that she understands. Baby, you married.
Yeah, you
Can't
literally
just-
in covenant walking with someone to death do your part. You know what you really is very Olivia vibe. I was gonna say Brett too, but it's really Olivia vibes to me.
Yes.
Yeah, it's I
Yes.
want to have a special person that loves me for me. We do life together, we travel together, we have a lot of fun together. But
This is
I
what
like
I
I want
want.
to do life with you up until the point where you call me out of my stuff and then I have to change and then I really don't want you like
And
that.
that's the
Because
part.
yeah,
Do what I
that's what it
want.
is.
That's what it really is. It's not that I want somebody to do life with me. I want you to do what I want to do with me.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And
that
even he was when the friends came together and met, and somebody else made a joke about Clara friends. She said her two friends were sick and why her friends didn't show up. Listen, it didn't bother me. She just had two of the wives to come. She had Brianna and Haley to come as like her representation as her friends. So that didn't bother me. People were really like going in about that. I'm like, we
people
are
were
living
mad about
independently.
that. I don't know why they were mad about it though. Like, I don't think people understand from the production aspect. You can't just have everybody. Like, for me, I have a million friends. I know one, some of them people not gonna sign non-disclosure agreements. And even if they sign it, they gonna break them. Like, you gotta know who you dealing with. So people were like, she didn't have no other friends, she didn't have no family to come. Well, for one, if they got tested and they tested positive, because this is still in the middle of COVID.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, we live in a pandemic.
If they tested positive or whatever, it might have been the day of that she found out, and it's like, to get somebody at this last minute and to go through all of the paperwork, like, it's other steps other than just asking somebody to come. And
To the
again, knowing
house.
your people, because I have tons of friends and family. I know the vast majority of them, if I should ever get on this show, will not be on this show because they don't act right.
Yeah, they're gonna act a buck fool. They're gonna
They're
embarrass
gonna act
all
a
of
buck
us.
fool. And you just gotta know what you're dealing with. So I don't think people really take that into any type of regard. They just want something to fuss about. But I didn't see anything wrong. I think that they were a great substitute. And
Yeah,
I appreciated the fact that Brianna was like, okay, I stopped by. I gotta go do something with my husband.
I gotta go. That's what she said.
Right. So I appreciated that. Anything else on the Ubers?
Do we think they're gonna make it?
I still don't know. I'm still torn with them.
If they don't make it, Ron done checked out. It won't be her.
Definitely, most definitely. Clara just in it for a good time, okay?
Yeah.
And Ryan trying to get some longevity, and
She's still sexually frustrated.
she's still sexually frustrated, which I don't know if I would have said that in front of our friends and family.
You know what? She probably was saying they're trying to like push him to like be more. I don't think it worked, but I know some women say certain things in front of their spouses and their boyfriends in the wrong time to try to like push a reaction on him. And sometimes it can go well, and sometimes it's a really big flop. So
yeah. And it's interesting because in most contexts, it's the other way around. It's the woman that is, not ready to have sex. And the guy's like, when we gonna do this?
have we ever had a guy that actually wanted to really wait? At Married at First Sight?
No, not that I can recall.
Wow.
A lot of them say it, and then the moment that they wife be like, I'm ready, they be like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, let's get this thing crack-a-lacking. No. And seeing like the free spirit and very liberal woman that she is, she probably could have had it on the first night if he had been open to it. And he ain't gave her the blessing. I'm gonna keep this thing. I'll get this thing clean. He ain't gave that girl what she want. That's why another reason why she around her bopping like she is, because in the past she's probably has had, sex very casual with guys, and there was just no thing about it. But he's like, I want more so the intimate emotional connection with you. And you are absolutely right. Most times it's the women, but we got a guy, so
right. Cool. And I appreciate that about him. Get to know her, for who she is. So that's all I got on them. Are we moving on?
We're moving on.
I had to Google these people I could not remember his last name for some reason.
Okay.
We are going on to the Morales family, Vincent and Brianna.
Champagne then.
Champagne, Vinny. Do you want to start or you want me to start?
I'm gonna start right here. I'm glad that he got into that parking lot and turned back around. This is your home.
Turn around and take your tail back upstairs.
Go back in the house. Where are you going? Okay. When he said that, I was like, I'm so glad. And I know production and like editing and stuff like that, they get like real messy to get like, boost up the drama and stuff like that. But I was so glad he came back and got in the bed. And then like we're having like that conversation. And I think that it's so funny because like when you acting a fool in the moment, you don't realize it. And then you have some time away and realize you just doing way too much. But then having to come back in that same moment, it's not always the easiest thing. It's like when your mama pop off and she mad at you, or she misheard you wrong or whatever, and she got to come back and she say you want something from the stove. Because it's awkward like hitting that, because really,
I don't want nothing.
Listen, or they ask you, are you hungry? I've been hungry, but you still in the wrong, Right. And God bless my mama heart. I remember one time my mom thought me, she had gave me some money and I paid it back to her. I gave it to her, but she was half asleep. So when she got up, she like, where my money yet? I was like, I gave it to you. So she went on like this rampage. Like, I'm talking about, listen, me and my stepdad thought we was gonna die that day because she went to 0 to 20 about this money. When she found her money, she came in the room, opened the door real hard and said, I found it. I'm sorry. And slammed the door. Let me tell you something. I went through 8 hours of pure hell. I need more. Like, she didn't even look at me. She didn't even address me. But the point I'm making is to go back in there and bless me out of heart because she really was trying to get an understanding. What did I do? Like, why are you so upset? But I'm glad they were able to work that out. And I feel like they're still getting to know each other. They still are establishing like their foundation. I do feel like ultimately, I don't even have to go like all the way into it. I feel like they're going to do really well, just them as a couple. And then going to the meetup with the families. First of all, the girl out here learning Spanish already. Her mama said.
Before we get to the meetup, can we talk about that silk press? Did you catch that? Baby, excuse me, Brianna, sir. Who laid that hair, honey?
And I need that other hair she just had.
Yeah, from the wedding.
I need that.
All
my
of
husband asked me, you sure that's a weed? Let me tell you something. I know that's weed. I seen them put it in. But that's how cold that hair was. Y'all didn't even know that was a weed.
Yeah, I need it.
Neat.
So, okay. Back to the family get up. So I thought it was interesting that his mom wasn't at the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know why. Why she wasn't there?
Where was you at?
Positive? Was she exposed? Was she out of the country? Like, what we doing here? And how come that wasn't the first stop? Like, we get back from Vegas, we going to mama house because you ain't my wife. You know what I'm saying?
Especially how close their family is, how he said they is on TV. That's what he said on TV.
That's what that man had said. So I do appreciate her trying to learn Spanish for the sake of the mom who does not speak a lot of English.
I love that.
I appreciated that a lot. That's teamwork.
Yeah. And Brianna mama messy. She's like, you learning Spanish? Oh, listen, you must really like him.
Brianna mama is on so many levels. Because when the first question she asked was, how y'all really doing? You could tell the truth. I know she a handful. I was like, oh my God.
Mother. And mother said what she had said.
Let me make this PSA to Gwen Johnson. Don't you get on TV and embarrass me like that.
Let me tell you something. Mama made her stance only how mamas can do. I know her. I know she can be a lot. How y'all doing for real, for real?
Yeah.
That's what she said. And I appreciate it. Yes, she did. She really did. Don't give me the cute stuff because I've been knowing that girl my whole life.
I raised her. I know. So I like that little hair. I think some people, it was one post that I saw, and I think they was just trying to get a rise out of people. And they was like, how do y'all feel about Brianna making tacos for the housewarming? Like, do y'all think messy. I'm like, girl, bye. That is a part
I
of their
did catch
culture.
that though.
She trying to be a part of their culture, make that woman feel comfortable in her house.
Yeah, and they say the food was busted, so it's a win-win.
If his mama say the food busting, baby, you did something right.
You did well.
You did well. You done good, Bree.
Yeah, she did.
So yeah, I like that little game that they played too, to get to know, let the families get to know each other and to get to know them. I think their overall housewarming was really good.
I do too.
Um,
They was all lovey, all close together. It was good vibes.
right. Always good vibes with them though. Like that one little argument that they had last week, I feel like we're gonna see maybe one more argument the whole season. Like they always have had really good vibes together. So
Yeah, their chemistry and their compatibility is really good. And then I think too, as they like grow as a couple and hit like certain milestones and have like certain conversations. I'm really big into like the Love Hour podcast, and they have recently been doing like this conversation about not addressing what happened, but actually attacking like what's the real rooted issue. And I feel like when Brianna and Vinny read this, they having pillow talk or whatever, having pillow talk or whatever, and they really get into like childhood and certain triggers, certain traumas, certain things that they've dealt with and have been healed from. She's going to like get to the home on a deeper level. And I think the same thing for her, because I believe that like that bossy thing is just like the surface, the top of it. It's something in that. You get what I'm saying? And I had even made mention too, sometimes that like it's not just like a bossy thing, but when you've been single for so long, you be in routine to doing things how you do them, and now that I'm married, it's not that like I'm being insensitive to my spouse, but I literally just met you as a stranger. Now we're married. Now we're living together versus me having 20 plus years of doing things the way that I've been used to doing them. And I'm even saying that now, even with being like newlywed, there's just certain stuff that like Quentin will do or I will do, for example, like we'll buy like snacks and stuff for the house. And then like, he'll say he don't want to eat it, but he'll eventually eat it. And then I'll ask him, like, did you eat it? And he was like, how do you know? And I was like, because when you live on your own, you don't have to like share stuff with people not eating your food because you live by yourself. That's the blessing of like one of the blessings of living alone. And he was like, it's funny because every time like I eat or touch anything of yours, you instantly realize it. And it's not that I do it like trying to be like a nitpicker. It's because I've been accustomed to being by myself. So yeah, I think when they both like start to do their work, I think that's gonna be good, and that's going to grow them in their relationship, that's gonna be nice.
That's gonna be really, really good. That's all I got for them. They, for as much as the people clowned about them last week, they was real chill this week.
Yeah, they were. And then they done made their first sight like season's favorite. So
again, they got their spot back because last week everybody said they wasn't gonna make it.
Listen, now they gonna make it.
He disrespectful and he immature and blah 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 blah. Let me tell you something. These people in the Married at First Sight fan groups, no holds barred. Like they will say anything. And I have my opinions on things, but I try to keep it respectful because one, it's a process and it's a lot of steps and a lot of things that we don't see or know. But also, these are human beings. These not actors and like TV characters. They real humans trying to get through this thing. So
yeah,
I try to be respectful, but I can't speak for the other folks.
Listen, and per your comment with the Married at First Sight like fan groups, I've never seen so many people with perfect relationships. It's certain stuff I'm just not gonna comment on because I already know. Like, look, okay. It's something that I can relate to. It's some of that stuff that I either had to like deal with, even with going back. And I don't want to hit on Chris and Paige again, but even with the whole Paige thing, when you and I were talking last week, a part of us and or our experiences are able to relate to her, whether you've been exactly in a situation or not. You could just feel that, and that'll kind of give me the grace to be like, all right, don't say nothing because listen, you've been a fool before too.
I wish more of the people had that. Or just to say it a little differently, because it's okay to voice your opinion, but y'all don't have to drag these people like y'all ain't never been in a bad situation before, I be feeling bad for Sue, but
yeah,
it is what it is, child. All right, anything else for the Moraleses?
No, we can move it on. We're all in, so we got one more couple.
Yep, last couple. And listen, I have to Google and search for this man's last name. Now, I don't think they said that man's last name yet.
What is it?
Harder. I never ever would have known that.
You said harder with the H or with a C?
Harder with an A.
Harder. Haley Harder.
That's why I was like, okay, I news to me. We just gonna talk
Mm-hmm.
about Jacob and Haley.
Yeah.
She is not my favorite. I don't. I tried. I tried real hard. She is bottom of my list.
Yeah.
Like under Virginia.
I was just gonna ask, she's under Virginia?
Yes.
Okay.
She's under Virginia. And here's why. My very first note about her was Haley, don't downplay your part.
Yeah.
You talk about Jacob like he just did everything wrong and you did nothing wrong. And like I said last week, I think that he overreacted, which he apologized for. But I don't like the fact that she downplays the situation. Like, I was just over here being an innocent angel, and Jacob
all the
flipped
time
out on me. And I don't know what to do. Again, accountability.
Yeah, I
Please take
wrote it down.
accountability and responsibility for your part in it. But her
Yeah.
friends suckered her in and got her together too.
Listen, my whole review on this couple can just be her friend alone.
Yeah. Her friend gave me what I needed.
Her friend basically said, so you think you done got all of us invested in this, done came to this wedding, and now you finna pull out that quick? No, you're not. Stay in it. Stay in this relationship. Stay mentally and emotionally present. She said, because I know you. When something ain't going your way and when you don't like it, you try to back out. This ain't what we doing, because I need to remind you that you are married. You are not in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Get yourself together.
When she said, because I know you, I stood up and started clapping.
I was at home.
Real Slim Shady, please stand up, okay? Because your friends know you and they know it's not just him.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what I said in the very first couple.
Heavy
Where
on that.
are your friends that can tell you the truth and hold you accountable even when you don't like it?
Yeah.
I wrote down at least 3 quotes from her friend. Her first question was, what are you going to do to make an effort? You talking about him. Ooh. What are you going to do to make an effort to make it work?
First of all, let's pause real quick. We had Pastor Carol last week. We could have had Haley friends say that to all 5 of the couples. What are you going to do?
What are you?
Not what you need your spouse to do, but what are you going to do?
What are you doing to make an effort? Because effort has to be a 2-way street. Where's your effort? Then she said, I need you to be mindful that it's 2 hearts on the line here. It's not just about you. You talking about this, that, and that. You don't feel no type of way, or this what you feel, this what you don't feel. What about him? Yeah. Because he's invested as well. I was like,
the doors of the church is now open. Let me tell y'all something. The doors of the church is now open. Cue the musicians, come back off and back, get on that Oregon, because now it's time for altar call.
I said, come through, friend. Come through, friend.
On TV.
And get the people together. Yeah. Friend gave us what we needed. So
you got a third quote, because I'm about to hit you on what our spiritual father said. I was meant to say it back then.
Go for it.
Okay, so that was a time we were talking about like accountability and things like that. Joy and I, if y'all don't know, have the same spiritual father. One of the same spiritual fathers, and he had made mention that if your friends, your community, if they cannot tell the truth about yourself, there's a problem within you. You get what I'm saying? Like, if can't nobody around you tell you when you're wrong, that speaks a lot about your character, And I thought about that with the whole like Chris and Paige situation when he sat down with like his homeboys, because his pastor is also his friend. But heavy on this with Haley, because she swears she just an innocent little duck, little damsel in distress. She don't do no wrong.
Yeah. Can't do nothing wrong. I was just doing my business, and then he was mad at me. Well, no, that's not quite what happened, baby. What did you actually do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And then not even just the whole, like, you left him when you went down to see the girls and have that whole conversation. But I'm thinking about just like being in the household. And I will even shout out our spiritual father again when he talk about like within marriages and living in the same household, how you emotionally shut down. It becomes an emotional abuse. It's not a physical thing, but we living together and you're not present. We're living together and we're married, but you don't make me feel like welcomed and loved. And like you said, back to what the friend said, what are you gonna do? This girl probably at home like, look, I really don't want to be with you. She ain't saying it. That's kind of like the vibe and the energy that you're giving off. And the person having to feel that never makes you feel okay. You know, even back to Uri, when she got to tell, do she miss me?
yeah.
Is she thinking about me?
Say anything to me while you gone. I think that's important. I have seen couples where they stayed, but they left. Like, I'm in the house with you, but I walk past you like a brick wall. I don't
Yeah.
say 2 words to you. I talk about you while you in earshot. Like,
Yeah.
if you doing all that, are you really even there? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes the difference. So I appreciate her friend putting her on blast and saying, no, ma'am, what are you doing?
It's not gonna work.
Because him trying to make it work by himself will never work.
It's literally gonna be an uphill battle. He the only one in the ring.
Y'all gotta fight
Tell me this.
together.
Do you think she has the potential, what it takes to turn around and be all the way in it? Or you think she's just completely done?
I think she does have the potential. She said one of the things that she did say in the initial sit down with her friend, she talked about how they had sat down and had a discussion either the day before or the morning of. And they
Mm-hmm.
did both say that they still wanted to make it work. I think
Yeah.
she does have the potential, but I do think that it's going to take some accountability on her part to say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah, he did XYZ, but here's what I can do differently. And not just do
Yeah.
differently 1 or 2 times, but now and forever moving forward. Here is what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And two, I don't know. I should have wrote this down, but I was thinking about when I watch the show, I'll be trying to see if I can pick up on like whose love language is what. So, and I think we've been talking about this on this podcast, with the beauty exchange. He definitely gives me he's a physical touch love language type of person.
definitely.
Yeah. And if she ain't giving nothing, that's gonna be a problem. Give me a hug. Go out to the park, hold hands. We gotta have something.
Even if we're not having sex, it's other ways to express physical intimacy.
Exactly. That's why I said let's go to the park, hold some hands, let's do something. I hope she stay in it. I'm gonna say that's my last and final thoughts. I hope that she stay with it. I hope that she stay in even emotionally and mentally. I do think that he like her a lot, even though he was tripping on the whole like you got a man at home situation with the boyfriend. I feel like they could work if they put it in. I don't know if they will become like America's Married at First Sight fan favorites. But because I have other group of friends who watch the show and we talk about it every week, and they was like every time them two come on, they just fast forward. And I was like, oh, y'all ain't even watching them. I watch them. I think that they can work.
I told you my friend called him the noses because he said he was a woman with a big nose.
Listen, literally, people be so bored and interested. I don't think they storyline that bad though. I mean, it's not like Chris and Paige, but
Definitely not as bad as there's nothing as bad as Chris and Paige.
I don't think we've ever had anything as bad as Chris and Paige.
No, but okay, so that's all I have for them. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So now that they've made it look like Chris and Paige are really done, like they played the little recap of their wedding and
They did.
played the little sad send $5 a month to save animal music. Like they did all of
Yes.
that. So how do you
Yes.
think they will keep them, because they got to keep them, they're contracted. So what do you think it will look like seeing Paige and Chris for the rest of this season? Because we're halfway through the season now. What do you think that will look like?
Haven't we had a couple in the past, and I could be thinking about a whole other show, but I feel like we've had a couple in the past that did not work. And I could be thinking
What's
about a
her
whole
face
other
that didn't,
season.
he never moved into the house. Remember?
Yeah, but see, even though he was like super interested, I forgot her name, but her name was Melody, something like that. They still kept like the storyline going of like him coming over every now and then. They dated here and there, which was interesting. It was really weird. Melody or something like that. I can't get her name. Anyway, that's gonna bother me. However, I don't know how they gonna keep it together. Me as a fan, I don't want to see neither one of them no more. That's me.
I know we gonna see him again. We've already seen in the previews they're gonna have another meetup. She gonna walk off mad again. I do think that I've heard, because the Bald and the Beautiful did an interview with Dr. Viviana, and she said that she also had a meeting with them, which I haven't watched her interview yet.
But we ain't even seen that yet.
We haven't seen that interview yet at all. So I think that we see things like that, but I personally think that we're gonna see a lot more group interactions of like all the girls.
Really? But that's gonna be
going to lunch.
Okay. Not all 10 people together.
Oh no. I don't think they would make that awkward. And I don't think Chris is gonna show up to the guy stuff, but
I can believe that. Anything that ain't making Chris like feel good or boost his ego, I don't know. I'm like, what do Chris do for like just chill moments? Because every time I see you on this camera, you just on 10 for me. And I bring it down.
What's your self-care, Chris?
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna be able to spend it, but it's annoying them and the creators of this show. They gonna figure out something. I just don't want to see Paige stressed out every episode, because we probably got at least 6-7 more episodes to go. I just don't want to see her stressed out every episode.
Yeah. So we're gonna see. That's my future predictions. I think we'll see a lot more group stuff. Even they tried to do a group lunch or something on this episode, but Virginia was out of town and Paige just did not come.
I noticed that. I'm like, where's Paige at?
She didn't want to be bothered that day, child. And Chris didn't show up either. So
no, he didn't.
But the guys didn't even ask about him. They was just like, how y'all doing? And they
because everybody's sick of Chris.
Everybody's sick of him. So yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So that's all I got. Anything else?
Listen, I'm ready for the next week, and I am going to sit down and watch the episode Dr. Viviana got to watch that on
I plan to watch
Bald and Beautiful
like today or tomorrow. So if y'all haven't checked them out as well, one of my favorite comedians came on stage, and his wife and their friends, they also do a review of the show. So anyway, that's all I got. I think that's all I get. That's all I got. Next week.
Bye.
Bye.